Being able to play Division II sports is something many athletes strive for. Former Warrior basketball player Bonnie Bjorke is one of the lucky few that got to play at this level. But after 4 years of dribbling, shooting hoops, and running suicides on the court, the 22-year-old is still hungry for more. We talked to her and got to know why in her last semester at Winona State, an old passion became a new challenge. For years, Bonnie Bjorke's second home was the gym. An all-year-round athlete in high school, she devoted 9 months to her specialty basketball. The other 3 to a sport she mainly played for fun, volleyball.
I was good. I was recruited by a couple of D3s, but I wasn't really, my heart was in basketball. So when I started thinking maybe I toyed with the idea of playing both, but basketball was where my heart was, so I just stuck with that. And I played volleyball, but it was never priority for me, it was basketball.
Recruited as a center for the WSU basketball team, Bjorke was fortunate to play the sport she loved most. But it wasn't long before the 6-foot-tall warrior realized that volleyball was more than just a pastime.
When I came in and started playing basketball, I immediately missed volleyball. I was like, God, we would come to the games and I'd be like, wow, I really wish that I had been able to do this. And I kind of got my little fix on it by playing intramurals. Like, we did a lot of intramural stuff in the spring, but I never really got to feel volleyball again.
And her sudden desire for volleyball was something that didn't go unnoticed. As a former teammate of Bonnie's, I really knew that she had a passion for volleyball because we would be at basketball practice and she'd be bumping the volleyball and setting it to herself. And Coach Ballard used to get mad, but she just always has had a passion for the sport. In her last semester at WSU, Bjorke's wish to feel volleyball again should become reality.
I was walking to work one day and I ran into Coach Simon, and he sort of jokingly said, I always wish you'd come out for volleyball. And I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm here until December and don't tempt me. And then he came in and he was like, really though, if you want to come out, we'd be willing to let you give it a shot.
In our recruiting last year, we were trying to recruit a middle hitter, and we didn't get the player that we wanted, so we felt we were just a little short of depth in that position. And Bonnie's a big athletic person who I had seen playing in intramurals and actually had in volleyball class, and so I knew she had played in high school and had some ability.
Now it was all a matter of whether or not Bjorke had eligibility left, and she did.
Oh, it works out that if you get to 4 years, you get 1 more year to try something different, so I have to keep explaining when people see me walking around in spandex.
Although Bjorke's athletic ability is out of the question, being out of the game for more than 4 years has left its marks.
When I go to practice, sometimes it's a completely different type of volleyball. I was really nervous about my footwork and if I was going to be able to shake the dust off and be able to play still. And so it's still something that when I go to practice every day, that's what I think about. This is such a higher level of volleyball than I've ever played. And so for me to try and switch over and get my skills back, it's still something that I'm adjusting to.
Another problem for Bjorke is that volleyball and basketball aren't exactly alike.
I see a lot of differences because in volleyball it's all about being long and being tall, and basketball is all about being wide. And so I always switch over, and when I'm blocking or something, I go from being like this to being like this, and I'm like, oh no, I get my stuff mixed up. So differences are obviously more things that pop out to me. I haven't seen too many similarities yet, but I'm looking for them.
Even though her new path causes quite a bit of frustration, the senior says she wouldn't want to trade her experience.
I think the best part is just getting back into it and trying new things. And I feel so blessed that I get to try this, because so few people get to play Division II sports, and I get to play 2. And I think that that's just something that's the best part for me, is being able to try new things and to fit in with these, the volleyball team with a bunch of great girls. I feel I'm so happy that I get to spend time with them, and that's fun for me too.
Bjorke is happy with the choices she made, but along with new opportunities comes questioning what could have been.
I have moments in practice where I'm like, oh, if I had 4 years, I could totally get this down. And I'm more than happy with the time that I spent playing basketball, but I'm really glad that I get this little shot to play volleyball. But I do see moments where I'm like, oh, I wish I could have done this for 4 years, because I feel like I could have been such a good player if I had just focused on this.
If she were a freshman, we'd be really excited about her abilities and her potentials in the next 4 years, but she's unfortunately that 5th-year senior and just has these 3 months. But you know, we're going to make the most of it.
Both coaching staff and Bjorke agreed that it will be a huge difference going from being a starter in one sport to going to unknown playing time in another. But they are sure that she will make her contributions to the team.
She might not work herself into much playing time, and her contribution might be just being the best practice player that she could be, and pushing the kids that are in the starting positions and making them better that way. So, and she was still willing to accept that. And like I say, that takes the right person and the right personality and the right work ethic to be able to do that.
I mostly just am focusing on staying positive because I've been out of the game for so long that things are really frustrating to me when I'm trying. I was like, oh, I used to be able to do this, and now it's harder for me to get back into it. And mostly just keep improving and help the team in any way that I can, because I'm a role player for them, and I think that that's a really good position for me to be in, because I'm just trying to help in any way that they need me. And so all my main focus is to just do what they need, keep improving, stay positive, and help the team in any way that I can.
For Bjorke, it's about much more than playing time. It's about being part of something else, the Warrior legacy.
I really think that I'm incapable of just being a student. As soon as I finished basketball, I was like, gosh, I'm a student now. I get all this time, I can get a job. And then as soon as Coach Simon came at me with this, would you like to try this? I immediately picked it up. It wasn't even a question for me. It was all about being back and like being an athlete still, and I don't think that I can ever shake that. That's something that is just part of me. I don't know if I can just be a student. I have to be a student athlete.
Bjorke and the volleyball team have some traveling ahead of them. They play tournaments in both Michigan and Colorado before facing Minnesota State Mankato in their first regular season game here at McCown Gymnasium on September 14th. Thanks for joining me for Warriors in Focus here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Annelie Schmittel.